The whole concept of science is built on the idea that evidence is everything, and anything beyond that is, at best, unprovable. And as a result, it's widely believed among scientists that faith and science are mutually exclusive forces that cannot coexist with each other. However, Andrew Huberman, renowned neuroscientist and professor at Stanford University, is demystifying that myth by publicly embracing his faith and fulfilling the demands of his career as a neuroscientist. So, how exactly does he balance his role as a scientist with his beliefs as a Christian? And what does this mean for the age-old debate between science and spirituality? This is the story of Andrew Huberman, the man who is bridging the gap between faith and science, showing the world that these two realms may not be as separate as we once thought. Known for his impressive work on neuroplasticity, an area of science that deals with the ability of the brain to change and adapt through growth and reorganization, Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist of repute. His contributions in this field have been substantial, earning him several prestigious honors, including the Best PhD Dissertation Award in 2005 and the Kogan Award for Vision Science and Ophthalmology in 2017. Currently, Huberman serves as a professor of neurobiology at Stanford University and hosts the Huberman Lab podcast, where he explores topics on brain health, performance, sleep, exercise, and mental well-being. But in recent times, he's been discussing something unexpected: his faith and the intriguing ways it intersects with his scientific work.
When you start to study and understand brain development, as I did, or neuroplasticity, or dopamine, you have to, meaning I don't care if you're an atheist, agnostic, or believer in creator, you have to step back and just go, wow.
Of course, you wouldn't expect anything different from Huberman. As a true scientist, he has seen firsthand the remarkable growth of science and technology over the years. But he's also humble enough to admit that there's a higher force that exists beyond science. In today's world, where debates about the existence of God are particularly strong within the scientific community, Huberman's stance is striking. A recent study shows that 30 to 37% of scientists identify as atheists, with another 28% identifying as agnostic, neither believing in nor denying a higher power. While this view has long dominated scientific circles, Huberman has taken it upon himself to challenge it.
Now, then, of course, there's this difference among scientists as to who believes in God, who doesn't. I'll just go on record. I'm very comfortable saying I believe in God. I do.
Beyond publicly admitting his faith, Huberman is consciously working to improve his relationship with God. In a recent podcast, he spoke about his prayer routine and the impact it has had on his life.
And so I do a prayer. I'll just describe it, where I ask, I make an ask to help remove my defects, my character defects. I pray to God to help remove my character defects so that I can show up better in all the roles of my life and do good work, which for me is learning and teaching.
Huberman explained that he follows this practice each morning and occasionally at midnight, spending around 4 to 5 minutes per session. Although brief, he finds that these moments of prayer provide him with peace and mental clarity. Given his background as a neuroscientist, one might assume that Huberman would rely on other methods, like meditation, to achieve these benefits. To be clear, Huberman does acknowledge the value of meditation, but he understands that it doesn't serve the same purpose for him as prayer.
And so you might say, well, how is that different than a meditation? Well, I'm acknowledging that there is something that bigger than me, bigger than nature, as I understand it, that I cannot understand or control, nor do I want to. And I'm just giving over to that. And does that make me less of a scientist? I sure as hell hope not.
The Bible speaks directly to the importance of surrendering to God, particularly in James 4 verse 7, which says, "Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." For humans, complete submission to God means we recognize his authority over our lives and trust him in all that we do. While this concept may seem straightforward, it's far from easy, especially for someone with a scientific background like Andrew Huberman. Scientists are trained to seek empirical data and physical evidence for every theory they explore. Yet, God, as a supernatural being, transcends scientific measurement. In other words, his existence cannot be proved or disproved by traditional scientific methods. This limitation often leads many scientists to conclude that God does not exist. And that's exactly what Huberman is out to challenge.
I think there are many things that science can explain. There are certain things science can't explain. But I'll even go a step further, which is that all the elements of science are entirely compatible.
Make no mistake, Huberman is deeply passionate about science and marvels at the incredible advancements it has brought to humanity. But he also recognizes that several phenomena exist beyond the scope of what science or technology can explain. Interestingly, this perspective isn't unique to him. Many scientists, even those from centuries past, have shared similar views. Before we delve into the names of these scientists and their thoughts on God, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The debate over whether scientists can accept or refute the existence of God has been ongoing for decades, and it might interest you to know that some of the greatest scientists in history were actually in tune with their spiritual side. In fact, one of the fathers of modern physics, Albert Einstein, recognized the existence of a higher power. He referenced God many times in his writing, and his closest allies knew him as the God-intoxicated man. Similarly, Isaac Newton was a strong believer in God, and his life was influenced greatly by Christianity. Beyond these icons, we've seen many other great scientists defy the odds and publicly embrace their faith. Amongst them are people like Galileo Galilei, René Descartes, and Blaise Pascal. More recently, we have seen great innovators like Elon Musk acknowledge that he is a cultural Christian who agrees with the core principles of Christianity, such as forgiveness and treating people as you wish to be treated. In a world where science and faith often seem at odds, it is exciting to see these influential figures express their faith in public. Without a doubt, their actions will go a long way in convincing other people to do the same. But more importantly, it will help change the belief that faith and science cannot coexist. With that said, we must emphasize that faith isn't an alternative to science. As we've discussed in this video, both realms are separate and they speak to different human needs. Faith offers meaning, purpose, and hope. It allows us to connect with our spiritual side and formulate a relationship with God. Meanwhile, science, on its part, offers insights and discoveries that deepen our understanding of the physical world. In addition, the study of science has helped humans come up with solutions to tackle several existential problems that confront us. So, rather than pitching them against themselves and canceling one in order to validate the other, perhaps it's time for us to embrace both. By doing so, we would be able to understand and utilize them better to fuel our physical growth. But while we're at it, we must banish the urge to criticize others who haven't reached this conclusion yet. As you know, the debate around faith and science is a delicate one, and some people may need more time to come to terms that both can actually coexist. So, rather than criticizing them, we must treat them fairly, recognizing that, just like us, they are entitled to their opinion.